All right. Hello, and welcome to part 3 of my series called Building a Plasma Toroid. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Chet, and I've made 2 videos in this series that first go into why I chose to recreate a Plasma Toroid project by Sky Guided, and defining the requirements for myself to consider the project successful, and then outlining how to procure the components, assemble them, and get into the initial testing. And I was able to achieve plasma, but I wasn't able to achieve a stable plasma toroid specifically. Since then, it's been about 9 months, and I want to recap what I've learned, including how to make the plasma toroid stable with a constant current power supply, how to ignite the gas in the glass to ionize it or change it into a plasma with a handheld Tesla coil gun or the push to start. And after confirming we've met the requirements, I'll go into a little more depth about what else I learned, including the thermal performance after running for over 10 minutes, how hot things got. I'll share the radio frequency emissions showing where this was oscillating on a spectrum analyzer. And I'll include some fun clips using gas mixtures that include other dopants besides xenon to get very colorful effects, which we demoed at OpenSauce and led me to purchase more gas mixtures so I could show you more cool videos. I think it's time we dive right in. So to make a long story short, I got the plasma last time and I was excited about that. So I wanted to go demo how I was able to create plasma inside of a glass. And I was able to get filaments or sometimes even a temporary toroid, but I wasn't able to get it to sustain. I was trying different power supplies. I was trying ferrite beads and ferrite rings. Couldn't figure it out.
Oh, that was
pretty cool, right?
And I just happened to switch my power supply incidentally from constant voltage to constant current. And at that moment, it all clicked. It was literally in the back of my own car that I was trying to show this to a friend. And I had a 12-volt battery going into an inverter to take it back to normal outlet voltage, and then taking that into the power supply, around 20 volts at 3 amps, and then that gets turned back into AC again to oscillate on and off at 13 megahertz. So just to set the scene here, this is kind of crazy, and I kind of lose my mind. You'll kind of hear it in my voice. I've been waiting for this moment for like 3 months for this to not dissipate, and it's doing it in the back of my car. So 23 volts, 3 amps is the perfect setting. Wow, now you know. Well, I wasn't kidding. There you go. There's a plasma donut or plasma bagel.
Plasma bagel.
nice. Yay!
Thank you, Chet.
So it's now a few days before OpenSauce, and I can just get my plasma toroid started by grinding the glass, or maybe with a little bit of luck, the push to start might work. But then you'll see what happened next when I got there.
All right, hey guys. We're here at OpenSauce, and my friend and viewer Chet came to the rescue. My plasma toroid device broke. One sec. There it is. That's my device that I made, and I plugged it in and it broke. And so then found out Chet here, he made another version of the plasma toroid generator, and it works really well. So shout out to Sky Guided.
We're having too much fun with the Tesla gun.
Oh!
Go for it, go
Here,
for it.
Go. Whoa! Just, yeah, keep hitting it.
Literally holding it at gunpoint.
That's wild.
Yeah,
We should have tried this one earlier.
So big thanks to Chet for coming in clutch with the plasma toroid generator when mine literally broke. And yeah, he's been a homie all day. He's been explaining the science of my booth when I wanted to go get water and go to the bathroom. So yeah, it's amazing. God provides.
Well, thank you. Like I said, I really appreciate all your great work documenting so I could figure out when mine didn't work the last 2 months, what things to try to tinker with. And we're helping each other out here.
So it worked out very well. I had just gotten my toroid generator working, BackMaxI, obviously super helpful for documenting this, and also gave me a huge pro tip that you can just buy a handheld Tesla coil gun for like $50 commercial off the shelf. So I got one right away, and it made my experience getting these things started way, way easier and made it so it didn't risk overheating so often. It just happened to work out very well, and then I could get back to focusing on making sure I met my requirements and then take it from there. All right, so let's review the requirements. So, firstly, is it safe to operate and operate it safely? Obviously, there are risks involved, particularly the temperature of the glass, the high voltage on the bottom of this PCB, and the capacitors, and the interference you may generate near sensitive equipment. We've already defined those risks. I haven't killed anyone, haven't damaged any components around me, so I'm going to give that a pass. 2, is it push to start? I'm going to give this a pass. It does work sometimes. It's not as reliable as I wanted, and that's where I go back to the point of buying a $50 commercial off the shelf handheld Tesla coil. It works out. I'm going to say that that's definitely what I would recommend versus using the button push to start. 3rd, can it sustain a plasma toroid for 5 minutes? Yes, it can do this for over 10 minutes without issue. And I will say even the resistors that I checked were well within there. Is it portable? Yes, you can fit the power supply, the PCB, and the glass in a carry-on case or maybe even a backpack. I've taken this to classrooms, open source work. Obviously, that's been a challenge, but it's been possible. And the biggest risk you have is damaging the glass. But that's where it definitely can be moved around and shouldn't hold you back from showing your friends. So with that, now we can focus on some more fun stuff and what I would change in the future. So now you're looking at a thermal imaging video of the glass after running for over 10 minutes. You can see the glass got up to around 100 Celsius, which is hot, obviously the temperature, which water boils, but not an issue in terms of being able to run the toroid. You just got to let it cool down afterwards. And then you can also see me looking at these 4 white resistors, which got up to 112 Celsius. I checked the data sheets for those, and the operating temperatures were up to 155 Celsius, so those are also well within tolerance. Next, we'll look at a spectrum analyzer using a software-defined radio called the RTL SDR. And specifically, you're seeing the frequency this is resonating at before the load, and then now you can see that it's under load, and it's tuned, just like he mentioned in the project page, to around 13 megahertz. I found that mine's oscillating around 12.7 megahertz. So let's conclude with changes I made and also what I would recommend for people wanting to try this in the future. Firstly, the USB-C is something that I did not use. I found it was much better to use a power supply with constant current mode and let it adjust the voltage as necessary, much higher than 20 volts in some cases. So you'll see the power supply I selected, which I needed bin and Ajax for, and I chose to add an intermediate XT60 connector so I could quickly disconnect from that. But you could do something directly wired or choose another power supply, just one that runs constant current, and you can turn the potentiometer all the way up and not have any issues. Further, I learned you can use the constant current mode and adjust that from around 2.8 all the way up to 3.5 amps and see the toroid move up and down in the glass as it gets pulled closer to the primary coil. And I feel like that's a way to make the plasma dynamic and interesting to look at without having to spin the glass. And lastly, I would recommend people buying these plasma toroid bagel flasks with just xenon to highly consider buying other mixtures with dopants like strontium or calcium. These create some very amazing effects and will definitely captivate your audience more than just a plain white bagel using just xenon. I want to personally thank you for watching this video along with the rest in the series. I know that it takes a lot of effort to document, but I hope this inspired you to maybe pursue this project or some other open source projects. The reality is that we're all learning, and sometimes we don't have the time to share that experience with others, but the open source community which I found not only online, but in terms of going to events like Open Sauce, really is here to support you. I do want to film more videos documenting some of the new bagel flasks that I received that might look like a black hole out of Interstellar. That will have to wait, but for now, I just hope that you learned a lot, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye for now.
I made a video, like he made his video series. I also made 2 videos about making this, so if you want to check it out.
Dude, heck yeah.
If you just type in my name on YouTube.
Collab.
If you type in my name and Plasma Toroid, you should be able to see my video.